Okay, we're going to mix colors on our paper. This is a technique that's used by watercolorists. You don't find it in the other mediums that much. Now, I'll tell you, when I do this for a painting, I typically will find a staining pigment to put down my first layer, and then I'll use transparent paint over that on the wet on dry method primarily. Now, when you do wet and wet, it really doesn't matter. You can move in opaques and transparents and whatever you want when you're doing wet on wet. I guess that's, oh, we're going to use our basic palette. We're going to continue on with the theme that we've had all along and use our 5 basic colors of red, blue, yellow, black, and white. Now I've already painted down and let dry those 5 colors, and we're going to see how it works when we put the wet paint over the dry, and then we'll immediately proceed into the wet and see how it looks. Okay, we're going to use our basic pigments, and we're going to go over these dry pigments which I've already laid down and see how it looks when we glaze over it. That's a term they use, or paint over it, and see if we can detect a color shift in any of these. First we'll use this color here. Now I'm going to go to the next color. We'll let that dry as we go along. Remember now, some of these colors are opaque and some are transparent. And really, when you think about it, even an opaque color will get transparent if you put enough water in it. Let me do that blue again. So we can see a shift in it. Now I'm using a very soft brush so I don't pick up the colors I've already painted, and I really can't go over it any more than I just have. You know, if I wet it down anymore, it won't work well. And we'll use this one more color here, this one here. Now a lot of artists do this, and because they think it makes things more transparent and has a cleaner quality to it than when you mix it on your palette. I do both. I'll do this. Let's put a little more of the black on there again. Remember now, this black is a transparent black, if you can believe that. That's what they advertise it as. And now we'll go with the white. I'm not doing this because I advocate this. I'm doing this purely to demonstrate what it means. Now look how opaque that white is, and look what happens if I go more than once on it. You're going to start dragging those colors through there, and that's an interesting technique, and you should use it. But this is what occurs when you as they say, optically mix the colors on your paper. You can work with it, you can get a little better effect. Let's run this red down and wet it down a little bit more and see what happens. Look at how it interacts with the yellow and the blue, and you can see that when you do this glazing, you want to be quick about it and you want to lay it down. It has a nice effect. Nothing I'll get too excited about, but it's a technique you can use if you need to, or if you want to. Okay, now I'm going to go on into dropping wet paint into wet paint as another technique. So I'll go ahead and get it set up.